that people have really not learned or mastered how to utilize their time. So tonight we are looking at time, the factor that differentiates us in life. Time, the factor that differentiates all of us in life. I think this is one of the most important factor in our life, even though it's not being taken seriously by many, but I still hold the view that it's a very, very important part of our life. I've dropped the link, the Facebook link, on the chat group. Let me see if I can drop it also on the WhatsApp group. All right, I've dropped it also on the WhatsApp group. So time, a very, very important and distinguishing factor in our life. Let me start by saying that no one is better than you. The only difference between us in life is how we have used our time. Just check your life again, like I asked last week. From when you were young till now, how have you used your life, your time rather? Have you maximized it? All that we become in life, our productivity and results in our life are simply a factor of the way we have chosen to use our time. Even though all men are created equal, but men are not equal at the end of the day. And men will never be equal because we all make different choices. So even though we are all created equal, the reason why we will never be equal, despite the fact that we are all created equal, is mainly because of the choices we make in life. We live our life daily on the currency of choices. We live our life daily on the currency of choices. We live our life daily on the currency of choices. The choices we make today will determine what becomes of our life tomorrow. So even though all men are created equal, but we really are not equal at the end of the day. Communism tried to equalize everyone and it failed. The difference in people is not in their position. It's not in the position they occupy in life. It's not in the salary they earn. It is not in the income they make. The main difference between us in life is actually the way we have chosen to use our time. The main difference between us in life is actually the way we have chosen to use our lives. The way we have chosen to use our lives. The way we have chosen to use our time, what we have done with our time, determine the income we earn, and the kind of respect we command in the society. So while some people are busy converting their time to added value and product, some are busy wasting their time. Some are busy wasting their time. And you know what? That's the major difference between us in life. The way we have used our time. Just check yourself and compare yourself with your colleagues. your friend and ally, and you see that difference. The difference between people is not their age, because there are a lot of old people who are very foolish in their decisions. There are a lot of old people who are unproductive. And there is a 13-year-old boy that have written books. But there is a 15-year-old man that have no product attached to his name. So it's really not about the years spent on the earth. It's about productivity. It's about value. It's about fruitfulness. And remember, life is about fruitfulness. The tragedy of our age is job and salary, because this thing does not allow people to even think about creating anything in the first place. They are just contented working and earning salary till they leave this world. Getting a job without considering your calling makes you to mortgage your life for a penny. Getting a job without considering your calling makes you to mortgage your life for a penny. It makes you to mortgage your life for a penny. Because you stop thinking, because there is an income coming every month. So you don't think of creating any value. Why? Because there is something coming every month. And if you work in ministry or government agency where even if you don't do anything, salary will be paid, you are destroying your life. We are wasting away. And people are in that queue every day and living such a life. The reason why you are the one looking for the job and not your boss or the owner of the business is the way you and your boss have used your time. Sometimes you have a boss at work that is almost your age mate or 1 or 2 years above you. Sometimes he might even be younger than you. So why is he the boss? He or she is the boss because of the way he or she have used her time. Your boss was able to properly convert his time into maximum value. That is what is attracting wealth to him. That is why he's the one paying you the salary. You know, there is this common thing that they say, if you get a brilliant grade in school, you will get a high-paying job, but it's a deception. You know, students today will even tell you that it looks like school is a scam, because they realize going to school does not make so much difference in this society. So they'll tell you school is a scam. They'll tell you school is a scam. As human beings, you are not meant to be running after job. Job is supposed to be a way of learning in preparation for what you are called to do. You should be running after destiny, after calling. Imagine 2 kids going to primary school. One go to primary school, the other does not go to primary school, playing around in the neighborhood. At the end of 6 years, one can read and write. The other is illiterate. Why? That boy that went to school in the last 6 years has converted that 6 years into value in himself through learning. These things are so important and crucial and critical. He has converted value in himself through learning. In 6 years, he can read and write. In 6 years, he can read and write. In 6 years, he can read and write. The other person cannot read and write. Why? The difference between them after 6 years is in the way they have chosen to use their life. It's in the way they have chosen to spend their life. It's in the way they have chosen to use their life. It is in the way they have chosen to spend their life. As simple as that is, that simple difference between the way you use their time is the major difference in their lives. Is the major difference in their lives. So these two kids in the same neighborhood, the outcome of their life after 6 years is different. Nobody is better than you in life. The difference between you and other that seems to be better is the way they convert their time. Is the way they convert their time. It does not matter your background in life. What is important is what you do with your time. Let me paint two scenarios. This scenario to you. There is this 7 students in a village in Nigeria, 7 students, 7. The first student, who is a guy, after secondary school was asked to go and get a job. So he went to learn trade and became an electrician. So in less than 2 years, he already started having money. While his friends don't have money, but they're in school. He's already getting salary. This guy was spending time for the next 6 years of his life. Learn trade, started earning salary. In 6 years, he was already at least earning something more than his colleague. The second guy is a good life guy. He didn't get a tertiary education, but spent time going for party, enjoying himself. And his friends were envious of him because he has all the time, attend all the parties. But this guy was wasting time. The third guy, and this for 6 years, who is a lady, went to a medical school. In the same 6 years, he has learned to become what it takes to become a doctor. In 6 years. The fourth person, within the same time, 6 years, became a journalist. He got a scholarship to go abroad. And had a degree abroad in mass communication within the same period. His first degree in journalism with a master program. The fifth guy utilized the next 6 years to become an architect, going through a tertiary education. In the same 6 years, he learns how to design a home and use this skill to earn income in 6 years. In the same 6 years, the seventh guy or the sixth guy became a mechanical engineer. In the same 6 years. In the same 6 years, the seventh person utilized the same period and he became a lawyer. In the same 6 years. These 7 people were from the same village, finished secondary school at the same time, but check out their life in 6 years because of the way they have used their time. See the outcome of their lives. The first and second guy could have become someone like the third to seventh person. Of course they can. But because their effort was in another direction, their time was not well maximized and utilized, see the outcome of their lives. See the outcome of their lives. This picture is just to let us have an idea of what time can do to us, the difference that time can make in our life, the great difference it can make. Great difference it can make. Meaning we cannot afford to waste our time. You cannot afford to waste time at all. Remember, you're either investing your time, wasting your time, or spending your time. When you are living for salary and job, and you look around and see other people that you are better off because you can pay your bill. This is the greatest deception of our days because it makes you addicted to the slavery of salary and make you think you have arrived despite and despise others. Remember, the reason why you earn lower than your director is because of the way your director have converted his time. Let's maximize our time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's maximize our time. Let's maximize our time. Don't be satisfied with just getting a job and working for salary. That should be a temporary arrangement because if you continue like that till retirement, it cuts you off from what you are capable of becoming. Not in terms of any, but in terms of value and in terms of heritage before you leave this world. It cuts you off from the possibility of a great future because it makes you to mortgage your time and life for a penny. Let's look at you now. You have left school for a while. You have a job or you are yet to get a job. The question is, how much value have you invested in yourself through the currency of time since you left school or since you finished service? Do you think you have been able to maximize your time? If yes, what can you show for it? What can you show for it? If you have nothing to show for it, you have an opportunity to begin to think, to work towards that. So this year presents for you another opportunity to begin to convert your time to added value. And this will consequently help you to be able to increase your net worth in the years to come. We are here for maybe 70, 80 years. And if God help, 90 years. You will not be here forever. What will you leave behind? Don't spend your life surviving. Rather, make effort to be interested in going for significance. Try to give your best. Give life your best shot. Give life your best shot. Let those coming after you be able to say, thank God that you were here ahead of us. Because of the value that you have created. The difference between people and their net worth is what they have produced within 1 hour of their time. We talked about that last week. How much value are you able to create in an hour of your time? How much value are you able to create? What amount of value are you able to create in 1 hour? If you can afford to waste your time, that means you can afford to waste your life. If you can afford to wait 1 day, that means you can afford to waste your life. You know, if at the end of our life, some people will not have anything to show in terms of their contribution, and let me tell you, it's not because they are not lucky, it's not because they are not blessed, it is because they are unable to create value in each hour of their life. And this is due to the fact that they have not mastered the wealth of time. You know, this is the third session we're having on time, and we'll still have another session next week. We'll be breaking down the 24 hours, how you spend it, so it can be more practical and see how we will be able to maximize our time. But the question is, why are we spending so much time discussing time? Because it seems as if many don't even understand how important time is. So they waste it. They waste it. Someone said, does thou love life? Then don't waste it, because that is the stuff. Does thou love life? Then don't waste time, because that is the stuff that time is made of, that life is made of. That is the stuff that life is made of. Don't waste time. If you cannot afford, if you cannot account for how you have spent your day, for every hour of your day, then your net worth will be empty. The greatest wealth that God has given every man equally is the wealth of time. And if you don't see the wealth of time, in fact, next week, what we'll be discussing is that wealth of time. Imagine God crediting your account every day. Convert the time of the day, the hour, the minute, the second of the day into dollars, and see if you are, and if you don't spend that money that day to disappear, how will you spend that money? How will you use it? Are you going to invest it or allow it to disappear? And that's where we should look at each second of our life. The greatest wealth we have as human beings is the wealth of time. Is the wealth of time. Is the wealth of time. And if you don't see it as wealth, then you waste it. But if you see it as wealth, then you will not waste it. But if you don't see it as wealth, then you waste it. And that's why people waste time. You need to learn how to convert time to be able to generate wealth that is embedded inside it. Time is needed for incubation. That is what leads to your formation inside the womb. Do you know that it is the currency of time that you wrote on during your formation inside the womb? Time is needed for incubation. Everything on the earth, everything on the earth, both product and service, and even human being, are a product of time. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that. Everything in this life is a product of time. Human beings are a product of time. Every product or service you see is a product of time. Everything you see in this life is a product of time. Everything. Everything you see is a product of time. Everything. And that tells you how valuable time is. The fact that you can use to create so many things. When you go and buy a product, what you are really paying for is the time that the person that created that product spent to produce the product. The people that create the product or created the product, they've been paid. They've been paid. They've been paid for their time. When you buy that product, you're also paying for the money that is paid for the time of the people that created that product. If you see a few human beings, it takes time to develop in the womb. It takes time to become mature. It takes time to be born. It takes time to walk. It takes time to speak. It takes time to learn. It takes time to grow to full adulthood that will be useful to himself and to humanity in general. It takes time. Everything takes time. Question: how are you utilizing your time? Remember, even your degree is a product of time. 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 When you see a graduate in an area of human endeavor, maybe it's an architect, it's a doctor, it's a lawyer, it's an engineer, it's a technologist, it's a scientist, it's a philosopher. All they have done is to convert their time, and the conversion of their time is what made them to become what you say they have become. It is the conversion of their time that make them to become what you say they have become. You call them a lawyer, it's because he converts his time. Time is the factor that differentiates us in life. My prayer and our desire is that we will get this. We'll get this and be able to say, in the year 2021, I started taking my time more seriously. That will be my greatest joy. I began to take my time seriously, so that anywhere I go, in the gym, on the road, in the car, in the office, at home, in the kitchen, in the toilet, I'm able to maximize my time. I'm able to maximize my time. I'm able to maximize my time. You know, when you, my goal, I'm hopeful that we can achieve it together, is to drive into us the consciousness of time. For you to become conscious that everything is created by time, everything. And that if I can master this act, and I make my time very important, and I maximize it, and I convert it. You know, if I'm in the bedroom, I'm listening to something. Either I'm doing major or minor or bathing. I'm listening to something. Just using every time to learn. If I'm at work, I'm listening to something. I'm driving, I'm listening to something. Why? Because I realize there's so much we can learn passively that we don't even know about. That you don't even know about. That you don't even know about. And immediately you begin to become conscious of time, not wasting it on social media, not wasting it watching TV, not wasting it gisting, arguing about football, not wasting it gossiping, not wasting it checking things out online, becoming more serious with your time, and not wasting it with friends. You know, there was a time, there was a day, someone, if someone comes to see me in the office, if he doesn't have an appointment, unless there is a value I would derive from conversation with that person, he will have to book appointment. Some people are angry because of it. And I said, look, if you can leave your house without booking an appointment, to just come and batch on someone's time, that means you don't respect your time. And sincerely, if you don't respect your time, I won't allow you to encroach into my own time. Because many people don't respect their time, actually. They don't respect their time. So there was this day, someone claimed, and I don't believe that claim. He lives in Benin, but he came to Lagos. He wanted to get something from me. So I was busy that day because some days I don't want to see anybody. I just want to walk, probably read or do some research. And he wanted to see me. And he didn't tell me he was coming. And I was told he's in the office and that he came from Benin. I said, the fact I came from Benin make it worse for me. I said, I believe he didn't come to Lagos because of me. So Benin was just emotional blackmail. That I came from afar. Emotional blackmail. Because the fact if you come from Benin to come and see me and you don't deem it fit to let me know that you are coming, then something is wrong. That's when you got to my office, you told me that you're around. So what happens if I've traveled? What if I'm not around? What if I'm not in the office? What if I'm not in the office? Painfully, I told him I would not be able to see him because I didn't have planned to see you that day. You have to come another day. Or we talk on phone, or we do Zoom. But if we're going to see physically, it's not going to work. If indeed you came to see me all the way from Benin and you didn't call me, you were coming, which I don't believe, because it doesn't sound rational to me that you leave all the way from Benin to Lagos and you won't tell the person you want to come and see until you got to his office. Of course, I don't believe that, because it doesn't even make sense to me. What am I saying in essence? Some people don't respect their time. They don't value their time. And you will see it in the way they encroach into your time to come and waste it. They don't have value for their time. And they don't definitely have value for your own time. But if you have value for your time and you treasure your time because you see your time as wealth, you will not allow anybody to encroach into it. Tomorrow is Sunday. Some people are going to go to church, and when they leave the church, they can't say this is what they are coming out with. And I've said severally, where there is no vision, the people should not perish. They should change parish. Don't perish. Change parish. Because you can't go somewhere for 2 hours. I think COVID restricts most services to 2 hours now. For 2 hours, and you'll be there. 2 hours. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. And you just waste it just like that. No, you need to value your time, ladies and gentlemen. You need to value your time. You need to have something to show for that 2 hours in church. What are you coming out with? What are you coming out with? So when you go to buy a product, that's exactly what happened. Time has been used. Time has been used to become a graduate. Time is being used. You are the one that will determine what value you want to add to your life, to yourself, and that's what determines the outcome of your life. That's what determines the outcome of your life. You need to be wise about the way you use your time. It's so critical. I'm emphasizing it to drive home this point that who you are today is as a result of the way you use your time yesterday. Who you have become today was basically as a result of the way you use your time yesterday. How do you grow your net worth in life? By the investment of your time. But my opinion is if you invest your time in that thing that is in your area of calling. So ask yourself an important question. Very important question. Find your calling. Add value to yourself in that area every day. And as you consume information, ask yourself, how can you use it to fulfill your calling? Remember the research of Malcolm Gladwell? He talked about the 10,000 hours of concentration to learn and master a skill and competence. That is what grows your value in that area. Remember, if you're a science student, this experiment on Convex lens that talk about focus, that when you stay inside the sun and you put a convex lens under the sun with a paper under it, and you allow the principal focus of that ray of light passing through the convex lens to converge at the principal focus. The ray of light concentrates on one spot, they heat up that paper. In a short while, that paper is going to burn. It's called the power of concentration. The value you are producing in 1 hour depends likely on how much value you have been able to add to yourself. The amount of value you have added to your mind determines the amount of value you can create in concrete products. The quality of your work or labor is dependent on how much value that you have been able to add to yourself. If you are very mindful of small things in life, then you will also be mindful of bigger things in your life. You'll be mindful of bigger things in your life. And this mindset, this is the mindset that you should take to work in order to be able to grow your network. Be mindful of your time and what you do with it. To increase your net worth, you need to increase your demand You need to create demand for your product and services. To increase your network, you need to have the right attitude towards learning. Instead of finding fault, have the right attitude towards learning. To increase your network, ask questions that relate to continuous improvement in your life. Always remember, ignorance is a gift. It keeps you humble to want to learn. You are always on a journey. You will never arrive. The day you arrive, you stop growing. The day you arrive, you stop growing. You will never arrive. There's always a room for improvement. There's always a room for improvement. There's always a room for improvement. You will never arrive. Another characteristic that increases your net worth is diligence, because it makes you to create a value that the society cannot ignore. Leaders in society cannot ignore. See thou a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings, he shall not stand before mean men. When you are diligent in the investment of your time, you know what? The leader in society will not be able to ignore you. Your net worth is what people are willing to pay for the value that you can deliver. What people are willing to pay depends on the value that you are able to create. And remember, when you solve problems, you create value. When you solve problems, you create value. The value I am capable of creating depends on the level of problem that I am capable of solving. The level of problem that I'm solving is dependent on the level of competence I've developed. The level of value I create is dependent on the enormity of problem I'm able to solve. What people are able to pay me depends on the value I can create. The value I can create depends, the size of value I create depends on the enormity of problem I'm able to solve. The problem I'm able to solve depends on the competence I've developed. The competence I've developed depends largely on the skill I've acquired. And the skill I've acquired depends on the amount of time I have spent to add value to myself. The amount of time I've spent to add value to myself. Why is this necessary for you? Remember, as human being on the earth, you are here to be fruitful. You are here to create value. He said, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works. You know the reason why many Christians are not the ones solving problems in the society? The reason why Christians are not the ones solving problems in the society? The reason is simply because we are not adding value to ourselves. And I must say that we spend a lot of time praying about things we have no business praying about. Rather than praying about things that concern the kingdom expansion and growth, things that concern the fulfillment of our calling, we spend time praying about bread and butter that unbelievers will get just by superior customer service, market penetration strategy, writing bankable business plan, being diligent on their work, creating products and services. That's what we spend time praying about. Things we have no business praying about. No business praying about. So we spend a lot of time praying and we spend less time creating value. So you know what happens in society? Those that don't go to church, those that don't pray are the ones creating the value that Christians are praying to God to get job from them. Christians are praying to God to get job from, and they will go and give testimony in church for getting job from that unbeliever who does not pray, who does not go to church, but just busy developing his mind and creating value. You know what that does? It makes us remain small. It doesn't make Jesus his Lord in our mouth to be very, very big and very, very respected. Because the people you are trying to talk to about Christ, they are the one creating job for you. So they're asking themselves, what has Christ done for you? Unknowing to them that you refuse, Christians refuse to practice the principle in the Bible in creating value in their life. Remember, the first statement that God gave mankind is to be fruitful. To be fruitful is to be solving problems. To be fruitful is to be creating value. To be fruitful is to be a blessing to others. Because when a tree produces fruit, it doesn't produce fruit for itself, it produces fruit for others. So to be fruitful is to be a blessing to others. That's what life is about. That's what life is about. That is what life is about. But we, for one reason or the other, look away from this. For one reason or the other, we look away from this. For one reason or the other, we look away from this. And do you know what that has done? It makes us remain small. We are the one begging for the opportunity that we should be creating. The principle they are using to create those opportunities are right there in scriptures. But because we don't read the scriptures to learn principles, to create value, to be a blessing, but we read it to satisfy our conscience. Or when we're in church, see that way, man. Diligent in his business. He shall stand before kings, he shall not stand before mean men. Diligence, it will make the society not to be able to ignore you. If they try to ignore you, just be for a period. They will come back. Why? You are adding value at a level they can't comprehend. So remember, what people are willing to pay you depends on the value that you are able to create. The value you are able to create depends on the enormity of the problem you are able to solve. The level of problem you are able to solve is dependent on the level of competence you have. The level of competence you have is dependent on the skill you have acquired. And the skill you have acquired is dependent on the time you have spent to add value to yourself. The level of value you have to yourself is based on how much time you are converting through self-education. Remember, one of the objectives of Life Calling and Career Clinic is to build an army of young professionals who are spiritually sound, secure financially, secularly relevant, and socially impactful. Who are spiritually sound, who are secure financially, secularly relevant, and socially impactful. Secularly relevant and socially impactful. Why? So that we can leverage on the platform we are created as a result, being relevant secularly, to be able to draw men to Christ, fulfill our calling on the earth, being a blessing to our generation. Being a blessing to our generation. You know, come to think of it, for Jesus to fulfill his calling, in 3 years, he spent 30 years preparing. For 30 years, he was preparing. 30 solid years. 30 solid years preparing. For me, that lay credence to the need for adequate preparation through learning. adequate preparation through learning. If we don't do this, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to keep us small. It's going to keep us small. This is so critical and important. The trajectory I've just talked about summarizes the way that you continuously and consistently grow your value, so as to ensure that what you are worth in an hour keep increasing and growing. Anything that you do, anything that you have not been able to become today is because you have been unable to pay the currency of time for it. There is no excuse for failure in life. However, people fail either because they don't know the law or secrets of life and success, or they know it, but they are unwilling to pay the price required to become successful. This is why the secret to growing your value is being discussed in this program, in order to help you to be able to know and then work with it. And then work with it. You know, some times ago, a particular pastor, he was going to preach in London. I think his church is in London. And he was flying. This was many years ago. He was flying on a business class. No, I think it was in, both of them were in first class. Him and Dangote, they were in first class. And he was going to preach the next morning, and 6 hours flight to London from Lagos. He was going to preach the next morning, so he had to sleep. But he noticed that anytime he wake up to go to the convenience to ease himself, he noticed that this man is just reading, as in he's reading a document, apparently going for a meeting. But throughout that flight, this guy was reading, going through those documents. He didn't sleep in that flight. Basically, converting his time, because he understood very well how vital and important the currency of time is. How vital and important the currency of time is. How vital and important the currency of time is. This is so critical. This is so critical. Before we close this evening, I'm asking you that question. How have you been spending your time? How have you been managing your time? How have you been using your time? Are you wasting time? Or you are investing time? Or you are just spending time? Which of this bracket do you belong? Which of this bracket do you belong? Which of this bracket do you belong? Now that you know these things, happy, blessed shall you be if you do them. Let me hear from you tonight. We are still discussing time, and we are still going to talk about time next week. Next week, we are going to be looking at a critical aspect of time, and we're going to be dissecting the 24 hours we have and how those time are going and what we must do to reclaim our time back. Yes, Demola, what have you learned tonight? Hello, Demola, how are you?
Yeah, good evening, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello, Demola, I can't hear you.
Hello. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good evening, sir.
How now? Good evening. Long time.
Yeah. Don't mind me, sir. Actually, time. I remember one of the favorite quotes in my secondary school days. It's all about time. There's this special quote that my principal always makes us to cite them, which always be my favorite quote till today. Like time is life, we should always manage it effectively because it's not replaceable. Uh, it's just like you have never disappointed us when it comes to knowledge. But this is the aspect I'm trying to broadcast. Are you with me, sir?
Yes.
Hello? This is
I'm
the
here.
aspect I'm trying to. Yeah, it's one thing. It's one thing to manage his time. It's another thing to know why you are using that time or what you are spending the time on. Like
Okay.
let me break it down, sir. Just like you have said, just like you have said, you said there are some people that goes to church for just 2 hours for the sake of they have to just perform the sin of going to church. In that aspect, it's not like waiting that time, not because they have something they are gaining in that church. So there's so many areas that some people will be devoting their times on, but what they are devoting that times on is not valuable. I don't know if you try to understand me in that area.
I'm not able to understand you. Yeah, Demola, sorry, I was trying to mute that person who just joined. Go ahead, please. Hello, Demola, are you there? Hello?
Can you
Yes, I can hear you.
hear me very well? Okay.
Yes.
So, like for example, now during when I was still looking during my university days, so my parents wanted me to, and in fact, I wanted to study the computer science. Then I was trying to look for admission from one university to another. So one way or the other, before the University of Agriculture offered me agri-economics. Now, those days, no parent will even want his child to study agri then. So
Yes.
then they believe people that are studying agri are just wasting their time. Are you with me?
Yes.
But today, agri now is what people are even willing to. So this is what I'm saying. It's one thing to know how to manage your time effectively. It's one thing to know what you are managing that time for. So that is what I'm try to talk to. There are so many people today that if you ask them today, they'll say, oh, they are busy, they are doing this, they are doing that, they are doing this. But what they are even spending that time on is not something that is going to like it's not valuable anyway. Or maybe I should not use the word valuable, maybe with science anyway. So that is what I'm just trying to say. I think you understand me.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes. That's why I said you can manage your time, but the time also should be used for things. This thing also brings us again and again back to discovering ourselves, because the whole idea of maximizing and investing your time should be in that area of your gifting, of your calling, so that the time is well invested in your future, not just being wasted. Not just being wasted. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir.
Faith. Hello, Faith, are you there?
Good evening, sir. Yes.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you, sir. So I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. My question is, what advice would you give to someone who is okay? I am a person who is very, very, very easily distracted.
Distracted.
So what would you say? What advice would you give? Yes.
I can't hear
My
you.
attention span is very short. So
Okay.
I said my attention span is very short.
Okay. So what's the question?
And so what advice would you give? That's my question. To someone who is
Advice
easily
I will give
distracted.
to someone whose attention span is very small, be very short. Hello? Hello, Faith, can you hear me?
Yes,
Faith,
sir.
you said, what advice would I give to someone that their attention span is very small? So what is the implication of that? Does it mean that the attention span mean that the person cannot do something for 10, 15 minutes? Can you tell me the implication of that so I will not understand what you mean?
I mean, okay, I can be doing something now and then
what?
I move to something else like that. There's always something to do. So I tend to not finish what I'm doing initially because I get distracted by one
When you were
the other.
When you were writing JAM, did that happen to you? Because if it happened to you, you pass JAM.
No.
I'm trying to show you that you are actually making choices. It's not like you are easily distracted. You are making choices. You are making choices. If what you are doing is very important, I can assure you, you will not be distracted. So if I have exam and the exam is tomorrow and I've not read, no matter the amount of distraction, I will put that distraction aside and face what I want to do. So what happens is that you are making choices because the thing you are juggling from one to the other, they are not very important. If you immediately rank them as being very important, you will begin to give that time to them. So, and the implication of that is that we must get to that point in our life that we identify things that are very important and ensure we give time to it. So I shouldn't do things for the sake of doing it. I should understand the reason and implication of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, so that I can attach the right importance to it so I don't get distracted. Just the way, no matter how easily distracted I am, if I have exam, sincerely, I will ensure I read for that exam. Why? I can see failure ahead. The discipline to read for that exam is created by the vision of failure, or vision of what it means to be promoted to the next class. If I don't have that vision, it's because that thing I'm doing is not serious enough. Immediately it becomes serious, I will have that vision. When I have that vision, it will help me to be more disciplined. I don't know if I've helped Faith. Chidi.
Yes, I have.
Chidi, are you there?
Thank you.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so today's discussion was quite interesting actually, because I was just thinking about it and comparing it to what we have in our current times. I'm looking at men like Elon Musk, looking at great men that are currently thriving in our dispensation. And I've, sometimes when I listen to videos of interviews that they do with him, he talks about the fact that you have to outwork everyone. So I'm able to see the correlation between the fact that time really is the critical thing and what actually makes the difference, between two different people that actually end up achieving great things in life. So look at great men. Look at even Jesus Christ in the scriptures telling us that he walks either though his father. So these are so many examples that we see that indeed really that critical difference is actually in what we do with our time.
Yes.
So and if you also compare the different examples, you also find out that somehow they were able to focus their attention in a direction, hence they were able to do something tangible in that direction. So like you said, it's also about maximizing power of focus and concentration. So as we are trying to, you know, maximize our time, discover the area we are trying to, you know, build our lives around, then concentrate and focus. And I believe that we can actually get to that height that we are designed for. So this slide, I don't actually have any question. I've just been meditating on the discussions so far. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Samuel, I don't know if Samuel was able to pick up anything. He came late. Oladak or Samuel, were you able to pick up anything tonight? He came a bit late. Hello, Oladak.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
good
sir.
evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I
What
came
have you
in when you were
tonight?
trying to
Do you
tell
have
us
any
that.
questions?
Okay. Yeah, I you shine.
We can't hear you at all. I can't hear you. I don't know if others can. Hello, can you hear me? Maybe you should go out and come back again. I can't hear you at all. I don't know if others can. Maybe you should go back again and come in. Miss Summer, how is the US today? How is the cold?
The cold is very cold, though.
How is the cold?
The cold is very cold.
The cold is very cold. Okay. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Um, really, thank you so much. Even though I didn't join, I think I came in towards the end, but I still have a lot that I've learned, and surprisingly, this is one thing that
you need.
that I've been meditating on. I need it, and I've been meditating on it for some time now, because trying to find a way to I work on one schedule to be able to accommodate everything you need to do, and at the same time be at the top of your game. And I think all of this has it's more like the more we listen, or the more we listen to people talk about it and like shed more light on time management, it's as if the more we get an understanding, okay, let me not use I get an idea, or maybe this end that I need to like tidy up or fix and to get things going like it should. And there's this story that you shared, this story you told about the the man who was the on the airplane. So, and it really struck me, the man was sleeping, probably resting, and the other one was reading. So it's important to rest, but at the same time, we setting priorities, studying and not just sleeping away. So every little minute or time that we get, we should just invest it in improving, increasing our knowledge, and not just letting it slip by like that. In things that will not really profit one. Yeah. So.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks for joining tonight again. Victor, are you there? Hello, Victor.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Yes, what have you learned tonight? And if you have any questions.
Can you hear me, sir?
I'm trying to, the line is not doing very well.
Yes, first time. I remember your name is like.
Hello?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, it's better now.
Hello, I'm there. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Okay, I was saying there's I learned quite a number of things, but I also have a number of questions too.
Go ahead with your question, please.
So the first one is that made a statement that if there is no vision, that don't perish, change parish. What does the word change parish? What does it mean? Or can you just
So what I mean is that
expatiate more
your
on
time,
that?
your time should be so important to you that if you go to a church, maybe a branch or a local church, it's your time you are spending to go. If whoever is presiding or coordinating there is not adding value with what he's saying, look for another branch. Go somewhere. Don't use religion because you say, oh, there are other places you can go. If there's some churches that have 3, 4, 5, 6 branches, so you can find another branch to go. Rather than stay there and you go there week after week, no value is being added, you leave. You can't say this is what you have learned on how to live your life again for this week. There's no improvement. I mean, there's no point wasting your time in such a place. I don't know if I answered that question.
Oh yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you also make mention of like time management, that we are ultimately everything that we.
Hello, I didn't get that.
Yeah, comes down to what how we have invested or how we have spent our time. So I want to ask that about time management. When you in your speech and in your message to us, you were like time management is everything. Like it's very important. Like every product is a result of time. So I want to ask that what are the important time, because
What are the
is there the structure? What are the structures?
Hello?
What are the things that we can put in place that can ensure that hello sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Yes, I was asking us what are about time management, what are the structures that we can put in place to ensure that we really manage our time effectively? Because many of us know about time management, but the practical aspects, in terms of putting it to work in the real sense of it, like when in reality, how do we ensure that we are what are the structures that can put in place that we ensure that we are disciplined, or how do we develop discipline in terms of time management?
We are going to have a session in 2 weeks on how to take your life back. How to take your life back, how to take stock of your life and take your life back from what is taking away your time. So I'm sure in 2 weeks from now, because next week, what we are going to be looking at next week is the picture of your life in the context of time. The picture of your life in context of time. Then after week, we're going to be looking at taking a stock of your life and taking your life back. So I'm sure by the time we talk about taking your life back from time waster, I'm sure we will have been able to address that. So I won't want to jump ahead of myself, but surely be sure, like I said, we still have a lot to discuss about time. I'm hoping that you'll be able to join us and then we can discuss it then. Let me take your other questions.
All right, sir. So that was all for now, sir.
All right. Thank you. Chidi, go ahead with your question. You raise up your hand.
Yes.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
So I don't know, I've been hearing a lot on time management, okay. So I've been hearing so many questions on time management, but I want you to actually shed more light on time versus energy management, considering the fact that we have 24 hours as a fixed time. So which do we put priority now?
I've not been talking about time management. I've been talking about investing your time, not wasting it, investing it. Because really you can't manage time, you can only manage energy. Energy is a quality that fades. Time you always have 24 hours. So because it doesn't change, every day you are credited with 24 hours. So you really, when you want to manage something, it's something that can increase and decrease. You can't increase time, you can't reduce time. You can only maximize the time you have by spending that time to add value to yourself. You can maximize it. But you can only manage energy because energy is a fading quality. The energy I have at 20 is not what I will have at 30. It's not what I will have at 4. By the time you are 50, 60, the energy begins to fade. By the time you are 80, of course, you don't have energy as much as you used to have. But you will still have 24 hours, even at 80. A baby of a day have 24 hours. An 80-year-old man have 24 hours. So you can't change that time. You can't increase or reduce it, but you can manage your energy. If you eat healthy, even in old age, you will still be having enough energy. There are people who are 80 and can still stand for 1 hour and speak. And there are people who are 60, cannot stand for 1 hour and speak because of the way they have not been able to manage their energy. That's why you need to be mindful of what you eat. Someone says what you are eating you up. Some of those things you are eating will not show now. You know, recently a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, called me. He said, Dele, you need to change lifestyle. I said, why? He's trying to get food, plantain, food that are low in carbohydrate and low in sugar from Africa, and he lives in the UK. Why? He said he has a borderline diabetics. This guy should be 40 or thereabout. He has a border. Why? I said, what have you been eating? He said, he's been eating, he doesn't eat sugar, he just eats sweetener. But those are accumulation. So what that does to the body, it reduces the energy. The organs are no more strong. The pancreas cannot produce enough insulin again to be able to take care of those sugars. What happens to us as we grow old is fading energy. But we can effectively manage that energy by what we eat and the way we take care of our body. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Okay, I don't know if Yemi is with us tonight. Yemi, are you there? I've not heard from you in a long time. Hello, Yemi, are you there? Hello? Okay, I'm not sure Yemi is with us tonight. Okay, Adenriola just joined. I don't know if Adenriola have been able to pick up anything before we close. Adenriola Adigun, can you hear me, please? Hello? Okay, I'm not sure they're with us. All right. Okay, James, let me hear from James. I know you joined late also. James, before I forget. Hello, James, are you there? Okay, Adenriola is back. Adenriola, go ahead. Adenriola, we can't hear you.
Yes, I said I joined late.
Yes, I know. I noticed that.
Maybe just only.
Sir, I'm on the road, sir. Hello?
All right, no problem. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for being able to join us tonight. Like I said, next week we'll be breaking out those time into units and checking out how we spend an average day and how we can improve on those time. See you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.
Good night, sir. Thank you.
All right.